Hey, this is Notser, and once again, we've got a video for you. This time, we've got the Tier 9 British Battleship, Duncan. Now, this is going to be the Battlecruiser line that's introduced early access in 11.6, full release 11.8. If you have followed along, you know that I've covered St. Vincent, and I will eventually be showing off a Hawk game as well. Tiers 8, 9, and 10 are generally the most important tiers in the game, so that's why I emphasize that. Hopefully you guys will enjoy what you see. But let's talk about the Duncan. So Duncan is basically the St. Vincent with a couple tweaks. Instead of 457 and 30mm overmatch, these guns are 419 and can only overmatch 27 reliably. They have the same amount of guns, generally the same rate of fire, a little bit weaker gun range, not too much. Does have a little bit better ship concealment at 12.1, and that is a nice little added bonus when you compare it to St. Vincent, which I think is at 12.8 or 12.7. So about half a kilometer improved concealment, but at a reduced effective gun setup. Everything else is pretty much the same. The torpedoes are in the hull. You've got 3 airstrikes to choose from, which is a nice British trait. You've got a regular damage control party, a super heal, a 8% engine boost, and defensive AA. The high explosive shell does not have the 1/4 pin rule applied to it. It is a default high explosive pin. It does, however, offer high fire chance and high explosive damage for its tier, but not necessarily the penetration advantage that the main British line gets to benefit from. Now, in this matchup, it's obviously a standard battle. Standard battle is a little bit slower than a domination or arms race battle, so it ends up being where people are more likely to camp. And when people are more likely to camp, it's much harder for you in a British Battlecruiser to get into a reliable range that you can engage. It just, obviously, you have to drive up to them. Well, you drive up to them, what if you bump into one of the 5 sources of stealth detection, the 4 destroyers, or the token submarine? That's always a threat. No matter what you have, you'll always have to deal with something like that, and the British Battlecruisers obviously will have to compensate for that. In my playstyle, I figure if I move forward with a couple teammates, they'll have my back enough that it's not going to be a situation where I get ambushed, get into a choke point, and it goes downhill real fast. As it worked out in this situation, teammates were able to spot out a daring that was in the middle of the map. Unfortunately, we lose the Tier 10 Italian destroyer, and in fact, there's a Minotaur that's moving up. Why is a Minotaur? We've actually lost 2 DDs, 1 on each flank. So there's only 1 per flank now, and the token submarine, which on my team, he's in the mid portion of the map. So I'm over here thinking, well, this isn't good. I'm going to move back because I can't continue pushing forward. We've lost a little bit of the, not advantage, but the team support. So instead of pushing too far, I decide to turn back and try and cut off the Minotaur. And we do... Wow, that was a weird shot. 1 shell for pin damage? 4,000? Really? 9 shells? You gave me 4,000 damage against a broadside Minotaur? Okay. And, surely he's going to break off the attack. He's going to turn the ship around. Everything's going to go. And what do we have here? We have a submarine. Well, I lead him in the direction that he's headed with the 3 airstrike depth charges that I have. And I'm hoping that I'll be able to reliably land a little bit of damage. First one, we get a flood. Second one does no damage. Third one does no damage. So we were able to land a flood, and we're looking in the top right corner. Flood damage is still going on, and the submarine is not on the surface, or not in direct line of sight. There is a Minotaur, and he seemingly hasn't changed his aggressive play. He's pushing forward. Oh, note, the dot has left the submarine. We get a nice, clean broadside on the Minotaur, and we very nearly knock him out. I needed one more of those shells to not overpin, and we would have. As it stands, we set him up for potentially one more salvo to finish him off. And because of the position and the situation, I'm going to sail to the north side, and I'm going to just shoot him point blank in the nose. I don't think this little gap is possible for him to turn in tight enough. I've tried to make that gap work. He's going to find himself in no man's land shortly. So I'm just trying to make this play happen as quickly as possible. And look, you can't send the torpedoes on the tier 9 and tier 10 at all, reverse or even mid. They're all facing forward. No! Knock that guy out, and what the heck just happened to us? Are we right on top of the submarine? I think we are. Yes, we are. We are right on top of the submarine. Literally using his sonar ping right as we knock out the Minotaur. And because he's so close to us, I'm just going to activate my airstrike depth charge right on top of me, and hopefully we can land something to cause a flood. We land one depth charge. Looks like he's moving off towards my teammates, so I'm going to lead him in the direction of the sonar ping. And we're going to check the top right-hand corner. We get another flood, which is nice. We actually unlock ship speed increase, which is really easy to proc against submarines, by the way. You should always try as a British battleship, or pretty much anyone using Andrew Cunningham. It's a reliable way to finish him off. And we actually flood him out, get the kill, 2 kills for the game, another charge of consumable. And just like that, the advantage is a disadvantage for them. So I'm happy with everything that worked out. We didn't really lose anything. Our ship's very healthy, and it was fun to be able to knock those 2 out. No more submarine do we have to deal with. So I'm going to head back south, engage these guys. We might get a cross shot here. My reload is at 26.7 seconds. At this point, with a drone rush, we might get it down to like 25, 24. And the cruiser shows a perfectly nice broadside. I lead him with the guns elevated. He turns away, and we only do about 6,500 points of damage, which, that's pretty good. Lexington's pretty low. 52's pretty low. I'm just trying to rotate my gun so I can fire on the 52, and of course we can't. He drops off detection, but we drop off as well. Lexington gets finished off by the Napoli. Nice job. And this game's ending up into kind of a rout at this point. If we can knock out some of these more ships. I see the enemy showing a pretty good broadside. Again, I don't have an aircraft to look over. I would have to just do manual looking, and I aim at the waterline, hopeful that we get a citadel, and nope, we don't. Once again, he turns away. Once again, minimal damage done. But he's definitely worse for wear. He's not in a good situation, and if we land 2 more shells on him, he's dead. He is burning, but, we're doing all right. Now, while all this was going on, I knew very well what I was doing. I'm sailing directly towards the 52. So I figure, all right, well, 52 is detecting us. He's going to eventually have to. He activates smoke. I aim basically right at his ship. And we finish him off with an overpin. Nice and easy peasy. And, that concealment plus the boosting and the nimbleness, the line is very scary to any ship, really, and that accuracy keeps them honest. So be careful. I think that this line might be pretty popular for players who like to aim their shells, just because good tight accuracy with the Battlecruiser, good rate of fire, good, relatively reasonable Sigma. 1.7 isn't too bad for how the improved dispersion actually works out on this line. So, I definitely enjoy it, and it can punish quite well over distance, so just watch out. Anyway, enemy turrets showing basically a perfectly good broadside, so we're just going to aim kind of at midship at the hull, hopeful that we get some good dispersion on that German. 14,000 damage, yes, 2 ricochet with that 14,000, so it could be easily 16 or 20. And that's very healthy, very healthy. Tanker killer in his Benham knocks out that Daring. That was on the east side. Good job. We're just going to reliably engage the turrets. Now, I said on stream, I would love to try and get these torpedoes to work, so I'm going to try and get in range to use them. Obviously, since you only have one set, sending it early is a risk. And there's that snake pattern. Then it straightens out and it's going to run straight for the rest of this. There's no like homing effect. Don't be confused by that. It's just using technology that they developed for the submarine to allow for sort of a single launch torpedo system to be valuable in the same way that it would be if you compared it to like a launching system that's on the hull. That's all they were looking for. We do a nice broadside on the turrets, angle against incoming. My guns are rotating, and I notice that the turrets is turned away, so I'm going to send more torpedoes. A single torpedo on my port side towards his position, and he's going to give ground. Most likely, he's trying to use both his torpedoes. Needed to elevate the gun a little bit. 3 of those ricocheted. If we elevated maybe like a pixel or 5, we would have actually landed it all in the superstructure and done at least 10,000. But regardless, we're very healthy in this situation. We're chasing down a turrets, and there really doesn't seem to be any way for him to stop this. Friendly submarine just landed a sonar on him, and we land enough shells on him to be frustrated. Friendlies knock him out. He centers torpedoes, and all that's left is this low-health Atlantico. And the Duncan works quite well as well. I like the platform. That short fuse AP, very nice. Good consistent accuracy with the Battlecruiser dispersion. The armor holds up pretty well, and very nice, quick, agile. Not docile, not fat. It's got it where it counts. 3 kills, 108,000 damage done, 1,800 base XP, just under the Napoli. But I just wanted to show off this game because, you know, it worked out quickly and nicely, and we were able to close up that aggressive push by the Minotaur and the submarine quite nicely. So overall, hopefully you guys enjoyed seeing the Duncan. Obviously, I hope to show more of this on stream. If you like the video, please like, subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can also follow my stream at twitch.tv/Notser. My North American recruit invite's on screen as well. Thank you again, and have a wonderful day.